Okay, hello. Okay, in this video, let's continue from the last time. We did the basic authentication, but if you notice right now, if you try to access the website, based on what we did last time, if you're not logged in yet, we just kick everybody to the login page. But that's not what we want, right? We want some part to be public and some part to be private. So the first step that we're going to work with is to tweak our middleware that is in lead, Superbase, and middleware. So let's go there and take a look a little bit. Okay, so with this, if you remember last time, here in the middleware, what we're doing here is that we access we have the main middleware, so this why call this update session in this one. Okay, so the whole idea is that before you get to any path, we're going to look into Superbase, basically look in the session, and it's going to ask for user, so we check whether it exists or not. If there's no user, we just kick everybody to the login page. Okay, so that's pretty not what we want right now. So I'm going to change this check up a little bit to check only for the path that we want to protect. Okay, so instead of this, I'm going to change this to, let me see. So we actually don't want to protect any other part except at this point. We only need to protect the profile part. So let's put that in. So request.next URL dot path name. There. Start with. So basically, this may be a good idea that you put all the protect path into the same path. Okay, so basically you put all public path or thing that you don't need to protect together, and you put the thing that you want to protect together as well. Okay, and also if there's some in the public path, there's a part where you want to for example, if you have book book detail page, where if the user is already logged in and he's librarian, there's a button that the user can click, and it will lead the user to update the book information. Okay, so we can do that as well. So we can pull the same thing, the same user information then. But in generally, this middleware going to decide uh, which page we want to protect and which page we don't want to. And then for the detail of each page, you can do that later. Okay, so now so I'm going to say that if it starts with profile, okay, I'm going to protect it. Okay, and then if I have other part that I need to protect next, I can just do all in here. Okay, so for all these, if there's no user, you're going to kick to the login page. For other page, they're going to let people in. So let's try that. So now, that's great. So right now, if we just do the normal book information, they let us in. But if we try to go to profile without logging in, now it kicks us to the login page, which is the same one is that this one. So now what we're going to do next is that we're going to implement this login page. I'm actually going to add another button so that it can be sign in and actually I'm going to make it login and sign up. Okay. So basically, if the user does not exist in the system yet, we're going to let him sign up into the system. And if you remember, this is the bad thing that I designed the database this way. So if you remember, we have this librarian table and we have the patron table. So we actually have two group of user, but for the authentication, it's going to share the same user table here. So actually, if you want your life to be a little easier, you pretty should have the same table information in your database. And then you just assign specific role inside. But now that we already have the data in there, so I'm just going to keep it as two table, just as our original design. Um, so for the user that can log in, I'm going to make them all the patron. So I'm going to assume that for the librarian, we're going to have a private way to add the user in. Okay, so now on the login page, I'm going to add a sign up, and it's going to check against the authentication. So basically, when we do sign up, we add a new user. And then once we add a new user in the authentication table, we're going to add one patron into this table as well. And to make the system know that, hey, it's the same user. So basically, we're going to add a new column here called user ID. I already added in. So if you follow along in the database, you won't have this column yet. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to edit the table, and what you're going to add is you're going to add this user ID column. Type is actually text UUID. So I'm actually going to show you using this. So this is what you want for this column. Okay, and you're going to make sure that it's not now, it's not, you don't have to click it's unique, because actually we're going to put the data from the auth table, so it's definitely unique. Okay, and the next thing you're going to know is you're going to add the foreign key. So this is the information that you're going to add. So you're going to say that, well, actually let me show you how to add it. So you're going to add from the schema auth, and you're going to select user table, and you're going to say that the new column that we just add, user ID, is going to link to the ID. So this what you want, and then you do save. Okay, already have it, so I'm not going to save it. Okay, that's one thing that you need to make sure you have. If we already have some, you know, would notice that actually in this other system, I have more pattern than this, because since we're going to link to the other the authorization table, so when you add the user ID and with the foreign key, it's going to complain. So that's why if you get a problem, just delete all the existing user first, all the existing pattern first, before we can add the new one in. So you might have a problem adding new column. You can allow this to be nowable and just add some user in the auth table, just like what I showed you in the video last time. Then copy the UUID and put it in. But then I remember there's like 25 user before, so you don't want to generate that many user. So deleting the previous data is going to be a better choice. Okay. Ignore that avatar URL first. We deal with that later. So at this point, you're going to have only this. Then the next thing to prepare for doing authorization is that if you remember, in our IRS policy, we most of them we only have the select for anonymous. Okay, so for each of the table here, um, yeah, so basically I think you're going to have only this for most of the table. So for what we're going to do, just to make sure that you prepare the table for authenticated user. So for each of the select, what you're going to do is you're going to edit policy. And here, the target row, you are probably going to look this way. So you're going to add authenticated in there and save the policy so that for each table you allow select for both anonymous and authenticated. So make sure that it look that way. Okay. Um, then for most of these table, we're going to allow insert and update for authenticated. Okay. So you're going to do create policy. And what you can use in here is that, for example, here I already have insert. So I'm going to try update. So here you're going to say that for this table, you're going to choose either insert, update, or delete. Okay. And you're going to make sure that you allow authenticated. And you don't have to use with check and inside, since we just only to allow authenticated with no other specific condition, just do true. Oh, and then then that can update. Okay, and then it's going to show up here. Okay, and you're going to do that for insert as well. So for all of these table, okay, for all of these table except the pattern table, you're going to make sure that you have at least update and insert policy in it. For some table, for example, book other, I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to create the delete policy for it as well. You will see where I use it later on. Okay. You will notice that for some of the table here that I didn't use in the example, I just too lazy to create the policy. But for all of these table that you see, I create a policy. You pretty should do the same thing as well. Okay. For example, like borrow stat, I think we did it last time to add authenticated um, policy to it. Okay. So now let's go back to pattern. This is going to be the one where we do something special. Okay, so here we're going to allow the user to insert the user based on the user ID and update and select as well. So the policy that we're going to create going to be a little bit different. So now here actually you can use this. You can use this as the example. Enable user to view their own data only. So here you would notice that it's pretty similar, except that this just a little bit has like the what they call just has the alias name. That's all. So you actually can do this, okay, and make sure that here this is authenticated, and just make sure that the column, okay, this is what you're going to change. So you have to remember the column name. So in pattern, the column for user ID that we just created is called user ID, not user underscore ID. So make sure that it's look that way. Okay. And then you can just actually start from the template. Just make sure that you have the same using here. And then you can do insert update. Okay. So let me show you how each would look like so that This is for the insert. You will notice that they actually look the same. So we just going to for insert, and then the check would be the same thing, and this is for update. Okay, and this is for select. Okay, so here with this roles levels security enforced on, if the user trying to create a new role with this different user ID, or trying to select with different user ID, he will got refuse. So it's kind of allow one level of protection from our code. Okay, so make sure that you have all these policy in place, or else you might get an error while you follow along. Okay. If you want to relax the policy for your table, that's possible as well. So you might just do the authenticated as usual. Okay. So let's go back to our login page. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to go to login. So where is that? Okay, there. So on this page, I'm going to modify the UI a little bit. So on the last part here, I only have, well, let me actually make this look a little bit nicer. Okay, so here we have button. So let me create a div so that they stay together. Okay. Like justify. Okay. So let me put that. So this button, so class name, so run text y py2 px4, and the width should not be full. So that's going to be for the sign in. I'm going to change this to login just to not make people confused. And this I'm going to make it blue, bg blue 500. Okay, so how does it look like right now? Okay, great. So this is going to be login and sign up. So let's start with the sign up first. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to, if you remember, we used to do the API. We did the API together last time with all login, sign up, and log out. So basically, we're just going to put it onto this page. Oh, okay. So now that we have this, okay, let's do sign first. So I'm going to add a form action here. Because we have to button now, and they should not submit to the same action. Okay, um, I'm going to call this a sign up. It's going to be an error, so that's fine. So here we're going to implement the sign up function. Okay, So as I told you before, for sign up, what we're going to do is we're going to just let the user we're just going to let the user add the information. Then we add the information into the auth table, and then if we add the information to the auth table successfully, then we create pattern. So that's the step. Okay, so I'm going to create a function expression. Okay, so actually you can just do a sync function sign up. That should work as well. It's just that I have this done this way, so I'm going to keep it just like when I test it. So it's a form action, so it can accept form data. So that's how we're going to access the input value on the text box. So notice that here I'm actually going to change this from client component to a server component. Okay, so actually I'm going to delete all this. Bye bye. And I'm not going to keep this anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna keep these anymore. So because we're going to deal with database, so it would be safer and actually more efficient to just do the server component. So I'm going to change this into a server component. Okay, so I think that's fine. And we already have a form. So actually let me check the form whether it should look like this. Okay. And actually I should not have on submit on there. So this will be a form, just normal form. Once the user pass the information, when user click the button, it will perform the form action. So that's why I take off the submit action that we have as a default action there. Okay. And actually just to make this so I should do this as a required as well, and also email, so that once you say that is required, then the user would not be able to submit the form unless they give us the information. Okay, so let me just delete this. Okay, so now let's continue with our sign up. So since this is I'm going to introduce you to the new what they call the the new tag. Okay, there's a word for it, but I forget. So remember that before we do use client app, so to show that this is client component. So here I'm going to do use server. But this is not saying that this is a server component. This is to tell next that this function should be a server function. It should be strictly run on the server. This is going to make it more secure. Okay, and this only work with a function in the server component. So it won't work in the client component. Okay, so we can get data from the form data. So the name is email. If you remember, that's not that. So actually, I have to give it a name. So type email, and I have to give it a name as well so that I can grab the value in the form. So I'm going to name this email as well. So this is going to be name password. Okay. So that would allow us to access these two input value. So here we get email, a string, and again a string. Okay, so now we're going to go through the same step as in our route for sign in. So there. So I'm just gonna copy that. So we need super base. Dot sign up. So here I need these two as well. Well, actually I'm going to need these as well. So why not just get all of these? Okay, bam, here. Okay, so here I need cookies and I need the create client. So again, we're going to import. So there. And I think this is one level up. Okay. So we need that create client from the Superbase library that we created like a couple video before. And we just follow the same step. So once we get the client, and this is a server client because this is a server component. So if you want to use client component, you're going to have to use the create client from the client stuff instead. So here, email going to be email. And password going to be password. Okay, great. So here we call Superbase to sign up with the information. And then we check if an error, I will just do console.log before I return redirect. So basically we're just going to kick the page to an error message. So here slash. So we're going to have an error page. Where's the last side? And I'm going to pass in the error.message to it. Okay. So here it don't know redirect yet. It's because can it help? No quick fix. Okay. So you're gonna have to do that. So let's import a redirect. I need it from next navigation. Okay, so that's good. And I don't need this one. Okay, so we're going to redirect to slash error. Let me see if we have yet. Apparently not. So let's create that first. So new folder, and then we're going to do page. Okay, we come back later for adding the data to the database. Let's finish the error page first. I'm going to use client here because we passed the data to it. So if you remember, we can grab that from the search param. Okay, so we're going to do that. And if you're going to grab things from the search param, it's required that your component is a client component. So here, in the error page, we're going to get search column. And then we can grab the user message, the error message that we passed a while ago. So that's our parameter name, message. Okay. Here you just I'm going to do quick and dirty one. So we just going to return some text. So let's do section class name equal content py key 12 and we're going to center text. And here we're going to have h1. Make the text a little bit large. Okay. And then our message. Okay, something went wrong. I need just normal P. Why does give me capital P? Okay, and then we're just going to put in error message. If there's error message, we give error message. If there's no error message, we just print something else. So if there error message, we're going to print this. If there's no error message, user will just see that there's something wrong. So P last name equal text red. So margin top. Okay, and because it's going to print our error message. I think that should be it. For some reason it doesn't like this. But I forget something here. Okay, so that will be our error page. So let's go back to login. So if there's something wrong, we redirect to the page that we just created. If there's nothing wrong, we successfully sign up the user, which means we create the data inside the auth table properly. Then we're going to get the UID, email, and the actually we don't see password. We're going to use an email. So in user profile, we need name and email and UID. That's the important thing. The rest we can just kick the user to update their information later. So let's do that. So we're going to check that so we're going to here. Oops. We're going to say it if your data. Let's make this capital D. Okay. If there's a user, then we're going to add thing to the database. So const name. Since we don't have the name information, so I'm just going to get part of the email and assume that is a name. if it exists, then we spread at the S side, and we get the first part. If it doesn't exist, we say new user. Okay. Then because our patron has a membership, so I'm going to make his membership start today and last for 2 years. So I'm going to make it into a string to ISO string and split, because there will be this is going to be long. I don't need that long. I don't need the time basically. So I'm going to split at T. So that's going to give me just the date without time. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. So const to year. Okay, and then 2 year. So I'm going to move this 2 more year dot set full year. Okay, full year plus 2. Get my set. Okay, so this going to make 2 years later, and then we do the same thing for membership N. So that will be 2 years. The spread at T. Okay, so we have membership start and membership end. So I'm just going to log, just so that we know that we start adding the user. So that I can show you that it actually start working. And then we can start the insert. Okay, at this point, remember that I showed you table. You should have all the policy put in place. If you don't, you might get an error when you try to insert the new pattern into the table. So this is actually how you insert into other table. So again, from, and then instead of dot select, you do dot insert, and when you do the insert, actually you can insert many data together. Okay, here I just add only one object. If you have more object to insert, just command keep adding thing. So here we're just going to list the value of the column. So the user ID will be the same as data dot user dot ID. No, mine's call you data. So, and that's going to be comma. Okay, then we keep doing this email. Not ID, email. Okay, name would be the name that we just create. Pattern type, patron typ. I'm just going to default to student. And then membership start. I'm going to do this and change this to lowercase s. Membership start. Okay, so that's the information that we want to pass to Superbase. So again, check for the error. If there's an insert error, we just going to do console.log and redirect to the error page. Error, so I just say that this is error when we add a patron. And then this should show insert error instead. And we just gave in the message. Okay. So if everything go out all right, so here this, so if everything's good, we just going to revalidate part, just like what we did in the service in our API. And then we're going to return, I'm just going to kick the user to the profile page. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for sign up, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so right now let's, okay, so that should reload it. So I'm going to do test. I can't remember which test I have so far, so I'm just going to do my test 2, and all the password that I use so far is pass 1 2 3 4 5 6, because we have no idea what the password for each account is, and we keep using the fake email, so there's no way to rename, so to recreate the password. So if you're going to create a fake data, make sure you remember that fake password as well. So let's show this up and see if our code work properly or not. So we do sign up. Okay, we sign up successfully. We add the patron, everything go fine, and we kick people to the profile page. So that look like perfect. Okay. Um. Yeah, I have no way to log out at this point. So might be a good idea that we can log out. So you would notice that here once we sign in, Superbase actually already create this session with the user and already have the user login as well. So to test the login functionality, I'm actually going to have to create the logout first. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here, the header part. So if you remember, the header is actually in the component right here. So it's one of the component. If you remember, it's from this layout, and it's calling the header component, which is this one. Okay, so here what we're going to do with the header is that, well, let's retrieve the user and check whether is already logged in or not. If a user's already logged in, we show some information. If he's not, we do something else. Okay, so let's start with something around here. Let me see. Should be here. Okay. Oh, actually, I should grab. Well, um, let me grab these two first because I'm going to need it. Because we're going to access. No, I don't need redirect. Sorry. I need this one. So we're going to access the database again. So, okay. So we're going to need a create client. So here, let's create and retrieve the user and see if we can't. I'm just too lazy. I'm just gonna copy again. Mm -hmm. It doesn't complain here. Fine. So for this, let me see if I use the right cookies. Um, next headers, yeah, that's correct. We'll be fine. So we're going to await cookies. Okay. Actually, it complained because I forget async there. It should be a synchronous function because now that we await. Okay. So we're going to create client and then try to see if the user exists. So we're going to get user. This is what returned from superbase.auth.getUser. It's going to be an object like that inside has a field called user. So that's why this is we just only get the user object inside here. Okay, so there actually here's property. So this is a data object. So you would notice that this object that has a user field in here. Okay, so what do we do with this? Basically, I'm just going to use this fact that if there's a user, this should show logout. If there's no user, it will show login. So I would do user just like last time, if you remember, and then okay, there. So if the user already exists, this should show login, and if not, it will show logout. Okay. Let me see. So, well, for logout, I'm actually just not using link. Let me use just a. And let me kick this to our API. So that's why it has to be href because I'm just going to kick it to API, which actually consider outside. Okay. So out, and that should be a. Okay. So if this, well, let me prettify it. Okay. So if user exists, we do logout. If it doesn't exist yet, we do login. And we just kick the user to the login path. So that should be all right. Let me check our logout a little bit. What do we do right now? So in our logout, we actually already have the code that we log the user out. So here we do sign out. Actually might be better if we redirect the user somewhere else after we log out. So let's try doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to, let me check. So we already revalidate the path. Okay, so if we are done here, if we are done, we should do next the response. Instead of JSON, we're going to do redirect. And then we're going to do new UI inside. Okay, so basically just do slash, and the base would be request.url. Okay, so basically if we log out, we just kick the user to the front page, so that should be fine. And actually I'm going to take the revalidate part outside here, so that whatever it happened, okay, it will be done successfully. Let's see. It don't like importing component that need next header. Yes, I do. So so I need next request. Next listen to server. What it complained for me. Let me see what it doesn't like. Importing in server component. We support in page / directory. Wait. Let me see my header first. Wait, this is logout. Oh, I see. My component. Let me see, header component. Yes, it still have use client. Forget to delete the first line. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we good. Okay, so now you notice that now we have logout. So if we click on this, okay, so it logged us out successfully and it kicked us to the front page. Okay, if we try to go to profile again, it won't allow us. Okay, so now that we have the user here, can't remember who, I just create, I can pick one of these. But if we log in, we should be able to see our profile as well. So let's go back to our login and finish that implementation. So we're going to go back to the button for the login as well. Notice that it still says submit, which is not good. So we have to specify the action. So let's do this. And probably not a good idea to do the same function. So I just going to call this login. Okay, so here, this when we click this button, it's just going to go to another function. And we're going to do a similar thing to sign up. So let me do it here so I can copy stuff pretty easily. So this is going to be login. So it's going to be a function. Okay, that is. Again, we're going to do use server. We're going to grab the same data. Well, actually, this has to take the form data as well. So let's put it in. We're going to need all these as well. And actually, I'm just going to do the same thing. The first part actually pretty much the same. It's just that instead of sign up, right now you're just going to say sign in. SIGN with password. Okay. And data. That is. So once we do this, the user should already sign in. If we don't do that successfully, we get an error. So I'm just gonna grab this thing here and put it here. If an error, we're going to say that there's an error logging in, and we just pass the user to that error page that we create. Okay, so we're going to, if we do this successfully, we're going to revalidate part again with layout, and we're actually going to redirect the user to the profile as well. Okay, so let's try. So in the unhappy case, if you log in, it will say that invalid login credentials. And then if you do things successfully, so this is going to kick us to the profile page. Okay. So next we're going to work with the profile page. This is going to show you how to deal with the bucket, the private bucket. So we're going to add the profile URL to the patron table and have the image uploaded, and then we're going to grab all of the data from the user and allow the user to update their profile on this page. Okay, but I think the video is long enough, so let's continue that onto the next video. So see you guys. Bye.